You've been lied to your whole life. You've been told to follow your heart. But what if that's the very thing that's keeping you stuck? Think about it. How many times have your feelings told you to stay comfortable when you knew that stepping out of your comfort zone was probably the right move? How often have you put things off because you just didn't feel like it? The truth is, your feelings are lying to you, often. If you keep waiting for motivation, you'll probably be stuck in the same place next year. Today, I'm going to talk about the dangers of following your heart, and more importantly, what to do instead. The idea of this topic came about on one of my long, easy runs, and I changed my watch to only show what the heart rate was, because for the longest time before that, on all of my easy long runs, I would look at the pace, and sometimes I would speed up a little bit on these easy runs because I post on Strava, I post my runs on Instagram, and I want to show people that I'm going fast. That is the unfortunate truth. I wanted to show people that I could run at a fast pace on an easy run, and I'm improving as a runner. And then I realized by doing this, I'm not actually making the progress that I want to make, because I'm following my feelings and not following the truth. And the truth in this case was I needed to keep my heart rate under 150 for it to be considered an easy run. That's what the program that I'm following, that's what the coaches that I work with tell me. On easy runs, you need to run it at an easy, comfortable pace. Don't think about pace, but it needs to be easy enough for you to be able to have a conversation, to not be out of breath if you were to stop. And once I realized that I was actually running at an easy pace by not looking at the pace and just looking at what my heart rate was, I realized that following the truth, and the truth in this case was my heart rate, following the truth is the thing that's going to make you progress in life. Whether you're running, whether you're running a business, whatever your career goal is, following the truth and not your feelings is the thing that's going to lead you to success. Example, many people, myself included, you don't feel like working out. So what do? You skip the gym or you skip the run. You don't feel like waking up early. So what do? You sleep in a little bit, even though the night before you said, I'm not going to sleep in because I want to do X, Y, and Z before I got to clock in at 9. And then 6 a.m. rolls around when you're supposed to wake up. And you're like, man, you know what? It feels a little too warm in this bed. I think I'm going to stay and sleep a little bit longer. And then you don't follow through on what it is that you said you were going to do the night before. Another example, you have a bunch of goals. We're in the month of February. Everybody and their mama had a new goal that they wanted to achieve in 2025. What did most people do? And I don't really know what most people did, but what did a lot of people do? 2 weeks rolls around. They're 2 weeks into January, and they've already let go of everything that they said they wanted to do because they just simply didn't feel like it. And then the next year rolls around, 2026, God willing, we make it all that far, and they're back in the same place saying, you know what? This is the year that I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. And then what do? 2 weeks rolls around, back in the same place they were the previous year. So that's why I think it is dangerous to follow your heart, to follow your feelings. And that's why it's most important to be following the truth. In Jeremiah 17, verse 9, it says, the human heart is the most deceitful of all things and desperately wicked. Who really knows how bad it is? But I, the Lord, search all hearts and examine secret motives. I give all people their due rewards according to what their actions deserve. That last line is what hit me so hard, because when I originally prepared this podcast, I only wrote that the human heart is the most deceitful of all things and desperately wicked. And I just kept it at that. And I thought, you know what? That'll drive the point home. I mean, you get it. You know that the heart is the most deceitful of all. That's why we shouldn't follow the heart, and we should just follow what the truth is. And then that last line is what really, those last two lines where it says, I give all people their due rewards according to what their actions deserve. The solution isn't easy, but it is simple. And shout out to Higher Up Wellness for that quote. The solution isn't easy, but it's simple. And what's the solution? Make a plan, commit to the plan, and stick to it even when you don't feel like it. And that's the hardest part for everyone to get through. Doing the thing that you said you were going to do, even when you don't feel like it. And that relates to health and fitness, which is part 2 of this podcast. And everybody who is into health and fitness can feel me on this, and they could vouch for me on this. Everybody that goes to the gym, everybody that works on their health and fitness can attest to this. We don't always feel like doing it, but we do it anyways because we know it's good for us. We committed to the plan, and we do it even when we don't feel like it. We do it when we don't feel like it. So my training plan has me running 6 days a week. And for more than half of those mornings that I have to wake up early to run, I don't feel like running. I don't feel like getting out of the cold, hopping in the cold shower, hopping out into the cold and running, especially on the long run days. Like today I woke up and had to do 8 miles. The other day I had to wake up and do 16 miles. I had zero desire to do any of it. But why do I continue to do it? Because I committed to the training plan. That's what the truth is. The truth is I committed to the training plan 4 or 5 weeks ago, however many weeks it's been since I committed to this marathon. There are many truths within this. 1, I committed to the training plan. 2, the truth is that marathon on April 27th is coming whether I train for it or not. That's what the truth is. And number 3, another truth of this, which is really the thing that forces me to get out of bed, forces me to get in the cold shower, forces me to get out in the cold and run. The truth is, after the run, I'm going to feel amazing. I'm going to show up better for my family because of it. All the endorphins, all the whatever the science, I don't know the science behind it, but after I come back from a tough run or an easy run, a long run, one of those workout runs, I feel amazing after. And that makes me show up better in my work, in my relationships, in the people that I serve. It just makes me show up better because I know I can carry that with me throughout the day. I know that I woke up this morning and did hard things and I made it out on the other side to tell the story. And I know that I show up better. So that's what drives me in the morning. Even though I don't feel like getting up and running, I know what the truth is. I know that after I do X, Y, and Z, I'm going to come out on the other side feeling better, knowing that I'm going to show up better for everyone. So I continue to do it, even if I don't feel like it. So if you're listening to this and you're like, Chris, I have fitness goals. I make fitness goals every year. That when you were talking about New Year's resolutions, that was me. I make a New Year's resolution every single year, and I never follow through with it. What can I do? Number 1, you need to make a plan that is specific. Make a specific plan, because if you just make a general goal of, I want to get fit this year, it's not specific enough for you to take specific action and have intentionality in the way that you live your life. So number 1, you need to make a specific plan. And before that, you need to be specific about where you want to end up after this plan. So I know I talk a lot about running because that's just what I've been doing a lot lately, but it could be anything. It could be, I want to lose weight? Well, how much weight do you want to lose? Because that's going to dictate how you're going to approach losing weight. How much weight do you want to lose? You want to get in shape? What does that really look like to you? Does that mean losing weight? Does getting in shape mean losing weight? Or does getting in shape mean you want to bench 315 or you want to squat 315? I don't know. You got to get specific about what that is. What does that look like to you? Because until you get specific about where you want to end up, you're never going to have any intentionality, and you're going to run around in circles, and you're going to end up on the other side like, I didn't even really achieve the goal that I wanted to because I wasn't specific, which is why I really like the sign up for a race and then train for the race, because it's a specific goal. If you sign up for a marathon, the marathon is 26.2 miles. No matter how you slice it, if you slice it into, you're running no matter how you break it down, the marathon is 26.2 miles. You have a specific date with a specific amount of miles that you got to run on that specific date, which is why I love when I tell people just sign up for a race and you'll figure it out, because you're going to pick a plan and you're going to stick and you're going to have to follow that plan to then go do the thing on the day that you signed up for. So make a specific goal, make a plan, and then stick to the plan, even when you don't feel like it. It sounds so simple, and I, it's not ideal, I guess. It is ideal advice, but if you're listening to this and you're like, I just don't know what to do, like, that's not the advice that you really want to hear, because it's like, no, I want a hack. I want a secret. Like, give me the actual secret. Like, give me something that's easy to do. Be specific, make a plan, and freaking stick to it even when you don't feel like it. And then some people might be like, well, what if I make a plan and then I just end up wasting time because it wasn't the right plan? Well, think about it now. You're probably wasting time because you're not following any plan. You're not actually following a plan right now. So how much more time could you actually waste if you're not even doing anything now to get to the place that you want to go, to get to the place that you're trying to get to? All of the clarity will come from the action. As it says in the Bible, I give all people their due rewards according to what their actions deserve. Not what their heart deserves, what their actions deserve. You got to put in action. There's no way to go around it. There's no way to go around it. Part 3 of this is career and life goals. This is how I use that solution of make a plan, stick to it, and do it even if you don't feel like it. This is how I've used that solution for all of my career goals with the YouTube and music grind. I have made hundreds, thousands of videos. I've made thousands of beats. And there were many, many times during that process, as much as I loved making videos and music, there were many times that were difficult to get through because, one, when you post hundreds of videos and you're not getting the results that you want, it is a little bit disheartening. Even though, like, I know on the other side, I know that that's just the process that I had to get through. When you're in the moment of like putting out these hundreds of videos and you're not getting the results that you want, it is a little bit disheartening. But I just knew that if I kept posting, if I kept making videos, if I kept making music, I would eventually figure it out and something would work. And something did eventually work. And that's the difference between people who have success in life and the people who don't. The only difference is the people who have success just never gave up. They just never stopped hitting upload, even though, in their case, maybe their case wasn't like they were trying to make YouTube videos. Maybe it was something else, but they just never gave up. But if I followed my feelings in the moment of making those YouTube videos and feeling disheartened, feeling heartbroken because I wasn't getting the results, then I would have stopped and I wouldn't have had the success. I wouldn't have had the breakthrough if I followed my feelings of, man, I just don't feel like it anymore. I'm not getting the results that I want. And if I followed that, if I followed my feelings in that moment instead of the truth, which the truth was the consistency is going to bring you to the breakthrough, then I would have stopped and I wouldn't have had the blessing of being able to provide and being able to bless other people with the gifts that came from the breakthrough of like figuring out how YouTube works, figuring out how online business works. I wouldn't have gotten through to that breakthrough if I just followed my feelings. I have friends, I have family members that have all these aspirations and goals of becoming something, of achieving something, of starting a business, of getting in shape, of whatever the thing is. I have a lot of family members who have these goals and aspirations and end up not following through because they just either don't feel like it, or maybe they do it for a little bit and they don't immediately see the results that they want and then end up just quitting. And then the next year they're like, you know what, I'm going to start that thing again. It's just this constant cycle of wanting to do something and then stopping it because you don't feel like it. My math here says if you work on your goal for just 15 minutes a day, in 1 week, you will have spent 1 hour and 45 minutes on your goal. In 1 month of working 15 minutes a day on your goal, you will have achieved 7 hours of consistent work towards whatever goal it is that you set out to do. In 1 year, that's 91 hours of focused progress. Think about that. 1 year. 1 year of working on your goal for 15 minutes a day will lead you to 91 hours of focused progress. And that's just with 15 minutes a day. If you were to bump that up to 30, don't ask me to do the math because I don't know, but I just know it's going to be more than 91 hours. Proverbs 14:23 says, all hard work brings profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty. So what's the solution here? It's the same solution that I said earlier. Figure out where you're trying to get to, make a plan, commit to the plan, and do it even when you don't feel like it. It's so freaking simple. It is so simple. Commit to that 15 minutes a day. See where it takes you in a month. If that's too long, see where it takes you in a week. I've been consistently running for about 2 years now. At the beginning of my running journey, there were many days that I mean, more than half of the days I didn't wake up wanting to run, but I did it because I wanted to improve. I wanted to get in shape. I wanted to stop walking up the stairs and saying, I'm just out of shape. I just got tired of like walking around and like feeling out of breath. I didn't want to make the joke of, man, I'm 30 now. It's all downhill from here. It's just how it is. Oh man, I'm out of shape. Haven't been in shape in a minute. I'm not gonna be that guy. I'm not gonna be that dad. I'm not a father yet. Hopefully, God willing, I have a beautiful family with beautiful children in the future. I refuse to be out of shape and show my children that I couldn't commit to my fitness. I just refuse. I refuse to be out in the yard or in the backyard, or wherever I am with my kids, at the park, out of shape, out of breath, can't keep up. I just refuse. I refuse to be that father. And I want to show my children that if you commit to doing hard things, that you can become a better person because of it, and not following your feelings and doing the things even when you don't feel like it because you said you were going to do them. I want to show them how life-changing living a life like that can be. So part 4, the last part of this pod, is relationships. And this is how I've used the not following your feelings solution for my relationships. So 1, we'll talk about the relationship that I had with my grandmother. If you're new here, I was a full-time caregiver for my grandmother for the last 8 years of her life. And there were many, just like the running journey, just like everything else in your life, when I didn't feel like tending to my grandmother, especially when she would call my name, because she would call my name often. Chris. I heard that like 10 to 15 times a day. Even family members, when my grandma would go to other people's houses for the weekend, so my mom and I could catch a break for a day, they would hear her calling my name because she was looking for me. I was the only person that she ever looked for in the last years of her life, which is an honor and a blessing. But sometimes it just felt heavy. It feels heavy to hear your name being called like that, because I knew that when I heard my name being called, I knew that she needed something. She wasn't calling my name because she wanted to tell me what was going on the TV. She wasn't calling my name because she wanted to share something with me. She was calling my name because she needed help. And it's heavy sometimes. It was heavy. Not sometimes. It was heavy most times when I would hear that. But I reminded myself often of what the truth was. She wasn't calling me because she wanted to. Of course she needed help, but that wasn't her choice. Like, she did not want to be taken care of in the way that she was taken care of. She hated it. Although she was extremely grateful for our help, she wanted to be independent, and she often felt guilty that we had to help her out. She often felt guilty that she couldn't do the things that she used to do for herself. And when I would change my perspective on this, she would call my name. I'd be feeling frustrated because I'm like, I'm tired. I don't want to do this. This is heavy. Like all the stuff that you feel. But when I think about what the truth of this situation was, that my grandmother did not ask to be taken care of in that way. When I would remember that truth, it's like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. She didn't ask for this. This is not how she would, like on paper, she would not want her life to be like this. And I would go and help. And every time I reminded myself of what the truth was, what the truth about our situation was, it changed everything. It changed my perspective on what was going on. It no longer felt like a burden. It no longer felt like, why is it just me? Why me? Why am I spending my 20s doing this? I forgot all about that. And I remembered this is not how grandma wanted to live her life, and that she was forced into this. And lastly, the commitment and the choice to love my wife. I want to share how this applies to my life of not following your feelings and following what the truth is. And the truth is that I committed to being a husband. I committed to loving my wife till death do us part. That is the commitment that we both made to each other. And imagine if we lived our life, or we lived out our marriage based on how we feel. Our feelings often change. We get in an argument, we disagree on something, we don't see eye to eye on something. In that moment, in that very moment, choosing love, because you have to choose love every single day. I don't care what anybody says. You have to choose to love your spouse every single day. It's not just a thing that it comes. You have to choose the commitment. You have to choose the love. In the moment of disagreeing with my wife, in the moment of not seeing eye to eye, I don't want to choose love. I'm a selfish person. I'm a selfish being. I think about myself. But what's the truth? I made that commitment. Feelings are temporary, and the truth is the thing that leads you to transformation. If you keep waiting until you feel like it, if you keep putting off that thing that you said you were going to do because you just didn't feel like it, you're going to stay in the same place. I promise you that. I don't know what you're going through. I don't know what situation you're in. I don't know where you're trying to go. I just know that if you keep putting off the things that you say you're going to do, you're not going to live a life that you're happy with. You're going to look back and regret all the time that you could have been actually doing the thing that's going to get you to the place that you want to go. What I'm saying is so obvious, but if it's so obvious, then why isn't everybody doing it? It's because you keep following your feelings. You keep following your heart. Make a plan, stick to the plan, and do it even when you don't feel like it. And you're going to end up on the other side so happy that you did it. And you know what's funny about all this? Even when you do the things that you don't want to do and you get the success that you were looking for, you are still going to have to do things and commit to the plan and follow it even when you don't feel like it. It's a constant cycle until you die. There are going to be things in your life that you're going to have to do because you said you're going to do them, and there's going to be days when you don't feel like it and you're still going to have to do it. No matter how much success you find in life, no matter how many times I've done a long run on a Saturday, I'm still going to wake up on that Saturday not feeling like I'm going to do it. But you know what? I'm going to do it because I said I would. And that's the life that I want to live. I want to live a life where if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And that's the kind of life that I hope all of you want to live. And I'm rooting for you. And I know it's hard. Let me know in the comments below what plan you're going to stick to. I hope this was helpful. And I'll see you guys in the next one.